Turning now to the investigation into the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. A bipartisan congressional task force made up of House lawmakers surveyed the grounds in Butler, Pennsylvania, where that gunman opened fire on Trump's rally.
The group also made it onto the rooftop where the 20-year-old gunman was perched. Former President Trump was hit in the ear. Two of the rally-goers were critically injured and another was killed.
Lawmakers said it was really important to be in the physical space where that violence occurred. And one of those lawmakers was Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey, who's joining us live now to talk about this trip. Congressman, good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to dive right in here. Can you give us, a feeling of why it was so important for you to physically go to Butler and see the site in person?
Well, I think it's important to get a sense of the lay of the land, and it's something that you really can't capture just from aerial photos and the like. And for example, this is my second time up, but the first time I went, it became clear to me that this probably was the last place you'd want to have an outdoor rally, because not only the rooftop where the shooter used to shoot at President Trump, but there were multiple rooftops all around this venue, which makes it even harder for Secret Service and local law enforcement to provide the type of protection that you'd want to have. And I think it's one of those things that you'd only get a full grasp of by going there to see it yourself.
This was your second time going, and you just said seeing all those rooftops gave you pause as a congressman. I wonder what your thoughts were as you stood on the roof where the shooter once was, and you were able to see the proximity in a different way.
Well, I think one of the things, and I didn't go out on the roof. I was looking out of a window on the roof. I left go out on the roof to my younger colleagues. But, it does give you a sense of, first of all, how close the shooter was and how that's really one of the first places that should have been locked down, because it provided such a clear angle and a clear shot at the stage. There were other spots that could have been used. They were further away. But, it's a real eye-opener, and I think illustrates the level of failure on the part of the Secret Service and managing this process and making sure that full protection was provided. I think it's important for us to make sure that going forward, we don't have these kinds of lapses as we have continuing rallies. We've got multiple people running for president. We've got other high-end officials who need protection. We have to make sure that everything's in place to make sure they're going to be okay.
All right, Congressman, I'm wondering, I think a lot of people at home are trying to still wrap their mind around this, around the assassination attempt, around the proximity, to Leslie's point, the scope, the scale of this outdoor venue. Did you leave Butler with more answers or with more questions?
Probably more questions. I mean, I think we had a chance after we toured the site to talk to some of the local law enforcement officials. And I'll just give you one example of an issue that popped up. The inability to communicate directly among each other. So Secret Service had a different type of radio wave that they were communicating on that was different from local law enforcement. And some of the local law enforcement didn't communicate directly with each other either. So that created time lags. And, when you see the guy and the suspect, and then also when he was on the roof, and those can be critical moments. And in fact, it would have been a critical moment if that bullet had gone another inch or two to the right. So, one of those things we have to carry away and try and figure out how to fix it, how to make sure that kind of breakdown doesn't happen anymore. I think we've got some ideas about that, but we want to make sure we understand it fully. And I think we have to make sure that we do a full and thorough investigation. There are going to be other things that pop out at us as we go along. And we have to make sure we capture all of those and try and figure out ways to help the Secret Service correct those.
Yeah, it's important to get those answers, and transparency is important for Americans, particularly given the times we are living in right now. Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey, always good to talk to you, always good to see you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me back.